This is the PR Podcast, a show about how public relations helps you tell your story to the world. We talk with great PR practitioners who have the skills, creativity, and just plain savvy to get their clients noticed. Now here's your host, Jody Fisher.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to the PR Podcast. I'm Jody Fisher. Thanks for joining us. Well, we don't have a guest this week. And last week, I took a week off quite accidentally. I just got really overloaded with work and didn't have a chance to tape an episode. And I think the guest that we had to reschedule anyway. So just kind of fell apart last week. My apologies for that. And this past week has been hard. And I didn't think that a regular episode was the right thing to be putting out this week, given what happened in Texas this past week. And so we're going to hold the regular guest episode till next week, when hopefully, presumably, we all kind of throttle back towards to where we're all supposed to be. And I say this sitting in New York. I'm, thousands of miles away from Texas. But what happened in Texas, I think, especially if you're a parent, really hit us. And it's made me think about a lot of things. And I think a lot of friends of mine who listen to this podcast, who have been guests on this podcast, I've seen them posting a variety of different things and opinions, all really terrific, smart, valid stuff, things about grieving, things about policy, things about the way things need to change. And I agree, things absolutely need to change. There is no excuse for not changing anymore. We've been dealing with this for, I'll just peg it at Sandy Hook, but we've been dealing at it before then. But that was Columbine. It goes all the way back to Columbine and probably before that. We've got a severe problem in our country and we need to fix it. And rather than just wring my hands about that, I was thinking about what we need to do as a public relations community to play our part, to play our role and fix it. I think we have an obligation as PR people to tell the stories that need to be told, to provide the voices that need to be heard in order to change what needs to get changed here. And I am not talking about a political agenda. I am talking about the well-being of our children. This needs to change. And all the silliness, frankly, it's whether you call it silliness or evil or incompetence, and it's different every day. It's all got to change, and that's all got to go away, because this is all about our kids. And we need to fix this. And so the obligation that we have as PR people is to harness the voices that we work with on a regular basis and tell the stories that are going to granularly, step by step, change this. There are no big sweeping things that are going to happen that are going to change this. I wish there were. Boy, do I wish there were. It's going to be a step by step, but we can't afford to stand still anymore. We've been standing still. By my measure, we've at least been standing still since Sandy Hook. The identical thing happened. The same exact thing happened, down to the detail. Nothing has changed. We need to change it. We need to take responsibility. Each of us need to step up and take responsibility for the thing that we can do to change this. Otherwise, it's not going to change. And we're going to find ourselves going around the same merry-go-round a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I don't accept it. I don't accept it. And I know that all of you who listen to this show, and I know the friends that I've made through this show, feel the same way. So an abbreviated episode this week, I just wanted to come on here and share some thoughts and talk to each of you. And see that if maybe we could just all commit to doing our own little part here, to changing what needs to get changed, amplifying the voices that need to be heard, promoting the things that need to get promoted in the most positive way I can use the word promote, to make sure that we make a difference here. for our kids and for all the kids who are going to come after, because we can't afford to keep running in circles here. It's just not going to work anymore. I hope you're doing well. I hope that that none of this has touched you specifically. And by that, I mean, I hope that none of you who are listening to this are involved in this. Even though we are all involved in it, you understand where I'm going here. And I just wanted to also say that I appreciate all of you for listening. I appreciate everyone who writes in. This is a hobby for me. I'm not making money here. I have guests on because I like to have interesting conversations with people. I am not the smartest guy. I talk to people who are way smarter than I am, and I try to bring you guests who I think have something to offer. And every one of our guests has something to offer, something really smart to say. And I've hope that you've taken something away from that. And based on all the feedback that I get on social media, you are getting that. So I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the support. And I really appreciate the input. This show exists for you. This show exists for the community that we have, both online and in the real world. And I love the fact that you continue to give me feedback and people pitch themselves to be on this show. And I started this show. I never thought in a million years people actually that I didn't know would be pitching me to be on this show. It's crazy to me. But it's terrific. And I love bringing new people who I get to meet and to get to know and bring them to you. And so you get to know them too. And so we grow this community that we have. We grow this brotherhood and sisterhood that we have here in the public relations community. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate all the support, all the love, all the input that you've given. And I just want us to pledge to work together for each of us to do what we can to continue to grow this community, continue to amplify the voices that need to be amplified, and continue to move forward. There's no other way to do it. In my mind, there's just no other way to do it. So thank you. Thanks everyone for listening. Please remember to subscribe to the show. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at the PR Podcast. Send us a question or a comment. If you want a PR podcast plug, and we love plugging people, send us a DM on Twitter at the PR Podcast. We'll plug a passion project of yours in an upcoming episode. Our intro is by Christopher Appold. You can find him and his fantastic photography on Instagram at Christopher_APPOLDT. Check him out there and hire him for all your photography needs. You can find me online always at Jody Fisher on the socials and on the web at jodyfisherpr.com. We'll see you next time, and thank you on the PR Podcast.